What's up guys, Killer here, welcome back to another game on the Gwenology account. This time we're up against Urgot. Runes should be on screen now, and if you guys could end up commenting something about a belt, it really does help me out, and it helps the channel grow, which means I can post more of these, which means that you guys can hopefully learn more. But anyways, this game starts off very interesting. Urgot helps Talon on the invade, my Kayn thankfully landing the smite. So now both junglers are kind of screwed. They're stuck at like this level 1.5 type thing. And Urgot's kind of screwed already from the start. So right here, we're just going to just chill out, just queue them all, because we want to make sure that Urgot loses XP for what he did, right? So he lost one melee while he was still in river, and then he was out of range for the second one. I can't really tell you the range of XP, but there's an indicator in the settings that if you enable, you can sort of pick up the XP range at around 5 games or so. It's very helpful, and I highly advise everyone use it. But here we have an XP lead. We have also a small minion advantage, 4-2 right now. So we're just going to slow push this wave. Miss minions along the way because we are bad at the game, but that's what this channel's for, to help you guys improve and see us better than I can. Speaking of CSing, I tell a lot of my students and my viewers when they come by, minus Canon, how to improve on last hitting. And I always say, before you play a league game, last hit the first 3 waves in practice tool. I did not do that before recording this game, and it's very noticeable. So please, if you want to climb, get your fingers warm. Go into the practice tool, first 3 waves. It literally takes 3 minutes to do, including loading times. There we're unfortunately going to get hit by the Urgot E, but that's a really good thing because I haven't really played against Urgot in a very long time, so just seeing how much damage he can output just re-familiarizes me with the lane and the matchup. And the way this matchup goes, it's that. Dodge the E or dodge the game. The second he whiffs E, he loses the game. And thankfully, he tried to overcomplicate things, and his brain was just completely everywhere. He was like, oh, I gotta cover this potential like dash to the right, and then I see him flash forward and I see the shield on him, so it makes me realize, okay, so he's prepping his E. Just stay calm in situations like those and walk to the left. As we're walking back, cloth armor, boots, and the glowing mote. Just because the extra movement speed and the armor help us out tremendously in this matchup. The armor helps when we do get hit by the EW combo, and the boots help us hopefully not get hit by the combo to begin with. But steel caps just make it so Urgot does next to no damage throughout the entire game. And the glowing mote is just to work towards the Nash's Tooth. You could definitely go dagger as well, but I just figured the ability haste would help with the E uptime and the small reduction of the WCD. But here, just QE forward, because even if he commits to the trade, we are just going to hard win. Urgot is a very weak champion early. Once he gets around level 9, he starts becoming like a real champion, and then level 13, he's fully online because he can basically do a full circle around you with his W coming off CD constantly. But here, more CSing, just checking out what's going on. And then here, I decide to just get some intel on the jungle camps. Now, we don't see either of them, but when they respawn, they will pop back up on our map, so hopefully King can maybe look for a counter jungle if Talon missteps and getting spot somewhere, or at some point. But here we're just kind of playing ping pong. I want to look for a reset and potentially get my steel caps. Level 6 here. Unfortunately, we're too close to the tower to really do anything with that. If he was near our tower, we would just immediately press R and run him down, because the second he dashes, he is committed. So if he dashes away, we just hit him with another needle, and then he would just be gone. But here, just setting up the proxy, getting a better reset, 850, or sorry, 950 gold. 850 does give us the blasting wand, but we're just going to opt into the steel caps, into the dark seal, because we are playing good. Early dark seal, if you have the 350, might as well get it. The dagger really doesn't do much for us. Yes, this does delay our Nashers, but even if we can get just one proc of dark seal, it's really nice. There, Urgot and Talon potentially on the Void Grubs. So I just want to push this in and then push. Our Kayn or Talon messed up the plant hit there, but thankfully we saw the Talon. We're going to ignite him just to make sure we constantly have vision, see where he's jumping. And we thankfully just get the right tick and get the kill. I did think that Talon was level 6 in that instance. That's why I ignited him, just to see if his, or like, you can see his like silhouette when targets are taking dot damage. Thankfully, even though we messed up igniting him, we end up finding the kill. That ignite would be much better in this 1v1. So just getting the kill is like really beneficial, because I trolled a little bit. But we're just going to be fruit gamers, pick them up. A little worried right here about Urgot sitting in the pixel bush potentially. Because even though we are strong, I'm just a little nervous about his full damage combo. Because again, it's been a pretty long while since I played this matchup. But the second he misses E on us, we know it's over. But we still have hundreds of HP left, so this matchup is really not that bad right now. I will say, though, at around the 2 item mark, there is this spot in the game where he can definitely just full cycle kill you. Just gonna hard shove this wave and then look for a reset. Kayn did get the Void Grubs for us, so I would like to go for a plate here. If I don't, I'm really dumb. Okay, I'm smart. Yep. Yeah, rewatching these, I'm trying to like re-remember what I did exactly, because I usually sit on these for at least a few hours. Most of the time it's a day. This time I played the game 3.5 hours ago. So I remember how the game goes after laning phase, which again, you guys are gonna see a lot of gray screening, but I remember this lane going really solidly. And so far, minus the butchered last hits, this lane has gone really well. And then those that have a keen eye, jeez, I can't talk. The Xerath is a Rioter. I actually played against this Rioter last season in the mid lane, and he completely dumpstered me on his Xerath. But here, we're just slowly last hitting. At this point, we just want to make sure that he's losing last hits. We don't want him to complete his cull too early. Urgot's forced to flash. We still hit the needles, though. All 9 of them, he is in a very bad spot. To the point where I'm really considering just a ego dive here. But then I just settle on the plate. I'm running Demolish Second Wind, so we can just keep our HP topped off and then demolish the tower plates. I've seen some people go bone plating into the Urgot lane, just on various champions. Oh. Urgot is going to look for us here. We are going to dodge that. And thankfully pick up the kill. No? Oh, I hate that for me. But sometimes I see bone plating. And I understand the idea. It's like, if you get hit by E, his next 3 W hits will not do as much, but really you shouldn't be getting hit by that in the first place. So just running the second wind to make sure that he can't pop your bone plating preemptively, or just positioning better and then letting him auto you and regenerating a little bit of it back, I feel like is more beneficial. Here we're going to get the recurve bow because that's the last component we need. I'm hovering here. I end up selling the Doran's ring Now, we do need to be very mindful of our mana usage now because we don't have the regen from the ring, but we do have presence of mind, thankfully. That's what made me feel like it was okay to do this. And then we also picked up the blue ward and the control ward. I love running blues when I know I'm going to play side lane because we can just ward very deep while we're focusing on minions. Urgot looking for the void grubs. And then my Kai'Sa unfortunately gets caught out. But then the enemy team does the mistake of continuing to chase Kayn. More specifically, Urgot. Chunk him down just a bit. This really is never a kill angle here. We're just threatening the Talon and chunking him a bit so Kayn can help us secure 6 grubs. Because 6 grubs plus Gwen equals GG. If you're with a duo, just always tell them to play for grubs, because if you get 6 and you can play the side lane, the game is already won. And then here, the last plate of the top lane, I believe that's 5 out of 5 or 4 out. No, that's 5 out of 5 this game. Just last hit that. And we are now released from lane. We have 1,300 gold. Now, unfortunately, the game time is still a little early. So we shoot ourselves in the foot here a little bit because we have to just come back here. No one else is really done laning, so until then, we need to make sure that we're not stealing resources from our teammates. Even though I love stealing resources from my teammates, just them going back in the neutral lane position, and then you showing up, stealing the wave, it's typically not going to work out. Like, even here, I thought Home Guard's activated because I thought it was 14 minutes already. Alright, here we get back to the wave, but unfortunately, Malphite ends up showing up just at the last possible second before I touch the wave, so I instinctively just insta-TP. This does save the Xerath. I don't really know if he was ever in a lethal range, but it's better safe than sorry. Our Xerath is playing very good, and he will end up playing great the further this game goes. My Kai'Sa trying to find the Malphite, Talon trying to find the Kai'Sa. Thankfully, we push him off, and since I'm here already, I end up making the decision to just trade 1-for-1 tower-wise, because, unfortunately, because we made that TP before clearing the wave, we allowed the Urgot to push up for free, basically, and allow him to come back into the game, but saving the Xerath, I feel like, is 100% worth. Thankfully, Kayn not taking our wave in this situation. Alright, back to CSing. We're just working towards the Shadow Flame. And then this game I opt into a Zhonya's third. Because, as you guys will see soon enough, I end up being the target of a lot of people's backs. So the Zhonya's is going to be very crucial in that. Here I'm just checking for Gromp. Unfortunately, no camps to be had. We are going to pick up the Hextech Alternator along with another control ward. Just play for this Dragon Vision. We are going to be a little late, but if we can get the first move, then it's kind of just free. And thankfully, Morgana, Xerath, Kayn all there first before anyone on the enemy team. And that makes me think, okay, we just need to cover this mid wave so Xerath can stay on the dragon. Malphite just here in a neutral position, just kind of standing there. So long as I see him, that's really good for my team because that means that they're not getting Malphite ulted. But as you guys will see, I know Malphite is going down to the bot. I danger ping it long before he even does it, and my team does not listen. But this actually ends up benefiting me because since he's down there and Urgot also committed his TP, that's just a free tier 2 for me. Unfortunately, it's not the bot or top one, so it does give significantly less gold, only 450 compared to the 700 we would normally get. But we're able to pick up the wave as well. Talon picks up the Rift Herald, which really doesn't do anything for them. When you're in a game state where you're falling behind, the Rift Herald will do nothing for you and your team. It's only a win more objective, in my opinion. Like, it really doesn't change anything. Like, they can get a tier 1 bot or mid tower, but they're still going to be behind. We still have a 3-0 Gwen. We still have, I believe, a 4-0 Kayn, maybe 4-1. Our Xerath is scaling very, very well. 4-1, 4-1, yeah. And then there we find the Talon on our pink ward. He's just waiting for the blue buff to spawn. I'm going to beeline it straight back to the top lane. Urgot, Youmuu's Dirk. I really don't know if he's building correctly because I feel like the Urgot build changes like every split. I believe at one point it was like Black Cleaver Rush, but then it ended up being like really bad. At one point it was also Titanic Hydra second, but I think Titanic Hydra is like a terrible item on him now.
Don't waste a minute.
My whole team's posturing for the bot. That means I will posture for top, and then we end up pulling 2 people. Now, I feel like I played this as poorly as possible. I had my E, and I was saving it for the Urgot E. And the second he pressed E, I just was a deer in headlights, and I get flipped, and I get insta-popped. And that's how this matchup works throughout the entire game. Dodge the E or dodge the game. It's just like a Lowy, but Urgot has to get significantly closer, and I feel like it's a lot more reactable. Even though we messed it up there, hopefully you guys can do it better than I can. There's also a small dead zone when you use your W. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that, but you can stand on the edge of your W, and even if he dashes inward, you won't get flipped. It's a weird little, like, bug or interaction. A lot of Gwen players know about it, but I just didn't go for it for some reason there. I was really just, like, tunnel visioned on this, dodge the E with my E, but just popping the W preemptively and then just dashing preemptively, I feel like would have been a way better way to play that out. Also missing the second set of needles, very unfortunate. I don't think that changed the outcome. I think just me responding to the Urgot E the way I did was the reason I died. Here we're gonna dash forward, QE auto. And then here, another misplay from me. But this time, it doesn't even matter, because they just sent the entire Avengers for me. They sent Jinx ult, they sent Malphite ult, they sent Jinx and Malphite both to top. So at this point, I'm understanding, yep, the target is on my back. And then I just typed to my team, they have no Rs for Dragon, so it's like, I don't know what they were planning. And now Talon uses his, and it's like, yeah, very unfortunate, Kai'Sa's down. But now they have Lulu ult, and they have to play into Morgana ult, Kayn ult. My ult will come up relatively quick after the dragon spawns. Xerath just used his to chunk a bit. And there's not really time for the enemy team to go back and heal, so any damage that is done to the Malphite, to the Jinx, anyone, it's going to stick. Unfortunately, Xerath gets caught.
What happens next, I get to decide.
And that will give them the first move on this dragon. I consider TPing there, but I realize how low the tower is, and there's just no way I can make it. I should be panning my camera here. This is a misplay on my part. I know how many ults the enemy team has used, and I'm just tunnel visioned on this tier 2. I feel like that is one thing about me that needs to improve if I want to climb more consistently. I need to learn to make these aggressive TP plays in solo queue, because I play in a lot of tournaments, and I'm willing to make these aggressive TP plays when I'm in comms with my teammates. When I'm in a solo queue environment, I just think the least possible of my teammates. Like, I think of the bare minimum that they can accomplish in a fight, And looking bot, seeing a numbers advantage for the enemy team, it makes me think, okay, there's no way we can feasibly outplay this, because I don't think of my solo queue teammates being able to land abilities. I think that's something that needs to change for me. But when you guys climb, I think you will also feel the same way. Just, you can't rely on your teammates ever. It feels like sometimes you got to understand that you got to play around your teammates, and I feel like that situation is very telling. Like, that exact situation. If I TP down there, I'm very confident with the lack of ultimates from the enemy team that we just completely wipe them. But rant aside, we are going to clear this wave. I'm going to start backing up, and there's the Malphite ult again. They just love sending multiple opponents for me. In an isolated 1v1, no one in the game can match me, but that's what they're going to keep doing. They're going to keep sending multiple people. I need to start respecting that a lot more. And as you guys can see, I'm 3-3. I was 3-0-1. Now I'm 3-3-1. Thankfully, I am getting resources for it. I'm collecting the waves still. I'm getting the towers. I'm bringing people for me. But that death is very bad, because there's nothing on the map for my team to play for. The only objective is Baron, and that was on the same side I was. I immediately think to run back top here, just collect the wave. But what happens here is my Kai'Sa will TP. I think that's totally fine. I think that's great, actually, because now I want to play for this tier 2. I want to keep isolating myself from my team, because I'm just pulling so many resources. I'm pulling so many people, and they just keep over-wasting to some extent. The Malphite ult, I feel like, is totally reasonable. I think the previous play with the Jinx ult, the Malphite ult, and the Urgot all coming up, I think that was overforced by the enemy teams. But this is why we run Zhonya's. Little dash away there. That will happen when you kill Urgot during his ult animation. But just the 50 armor alone, we didn't even need to pop the Zhonya's. One unfortunate thing about Gwen taking Zhonya's is when you press Q, there's a lockout window for Zhonya's. And as you guys will see here, unfortunately, we find the Talon. He is fumbling a little bit, but we unfortunately fumbled even more. The way I should have played that is the second he wall hopped, I auto the Krugs to have 4 stacks, because if I have 4 stacks of Q there, I always beat this Talon, but I was just so nervous in that situation. But also, if our Zhonya's did not get locked out by Gwen Q, it would be so easy to outplay there. You get 4 stacks Q, press Zhonya's, and it would just be so amazing. If Riot ever makes that change, Zhonya's might be like a main staple item instead of a 1 in like 5 games, depending on like enemy champions, obviously. But since we saw Talon Urgot the most this game, we are getting value from Zhonya's. Alright, and then in this situation, 4 enemies are top, Malphite is isolated alone. Basically the same exact situation as the past times I've died in the top side. Unfortunately here, my Zhonya's is cooldown. I was spamming it, thinking that my Zhonya's was off CD. My team picks it up though, because they still had 3 people on the top side of the map. They will end up trying to play for this tier 2 top tower. They will unfortunately get it as well, but our Xerath just absolutely doming that Jinx, the Rioter buff. I don't know how that trap didn't snare, by the way. At this point, I'm getting pretty tilted from the amount of ults being expelled onto me. We've been hit by like 4 Malphite ults, like 5 Urgot ults. We got Jinx ulted once. Just so many ults were used on me this game. I consider TPing for this tower, but then I realized that the wave's just not big enough and the enemies are spawning just a little too soon to my liking. Kayn thankfully picks up the dragon there. He's 3 items, gonna absolutely dominate whatever fight he goes to next. And we're just gonna fix top wave. We're just gonna push this out, let our teammates get their resets in because Morgana was on the map for a second. Kai'Sa wants to reset, just link with everyone because we have 0-3 spawning in 2 seconds, and this is something you also want to try to do in solo queue. Just syncing up with your teammates. There's going to be situations where it's like, ooh, I need to stay on the map, get this one item. But there's situations where it's like you need to recall with your team so you can all show up to the objective at the same time. Because numbers are everything in League. As you guys can see, like, they have to send 2 to 3 people every time. So that means the enemies are just stuck in a numbers disadvantage on the other side of the map. And that will happen if you don't reset quick enough and group up with your team. Malphite just getting absolutely obliterated. Lulu almost going down, but Jinx heal does save her. Thankfully healing past the Urgot lethal range and then getting him before we get pulled in. And then with that, that will be the game. Hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry if my voice sounded a little off. I have a small cold, so appreciate you guys sticking with the vid through, or sticking with me throughout the whole vid with my voice maybe sounding a bit off to you guys. But hope you guys enjoyed. Like, sub, comment something about a bell, and I'll leave you guys to the end game stats later.
Just like the good old times. Sweet, simple, and out of control.